Well, hello everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of MBTV News, formerly known as Meta World News. Maybe in the future we'll revert. I don't know.
Mhm.
A man of great
The,
indecision
the
here.
only thing you can count on is change,
Well,
as I
exactly. So
as I
why not?
say.
It's like an on-off switch. If you keep it
Right.
on and then off and then on or off, then it's in a state of flux, which at least is a sort of change.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If to get
And
real change, you just got to change the color of the light bulbs on each switch, but that's another matter.
oh yeah, yeah.
That's nitpicking. Right. Okay, my name is Mal Burns, and if you want to follow me on Twitter, which is quite advisable actually, still, despite what's going on, even overnight last night, we got a new change. You can only look at 400 tweets a day now,
Hmm.
unless you paid up member.
Pay up,
Right.
pay up. Open your wallet. Pay up.
God, just every day that goes by, Elon Musk seems to do something to that platform
Mm-hmm.
that is the antithesis of what it was ever about, you know.
Right.
So, sharing links was what it was originally there for, not long gossipy conversations and fake news. However, well, it's a separate matter entirely. Twitter.com/malburns, MALBURNS. That's Mal for one word, Burns is the second word, but they're squashed as the interwebs do. And there's another feed there, twitter.com Meta World News, but that's for Open Simulator and stuff like that, really. Okay. Joining me in the studio here is none other than James Atloud. He's sometimes I call him my producer. I noticed in another blog he's now known as technical supervisor.
I saw that. Wow. I just
and
get promotion
I,
after promotion, but my salary doesn't change.
yeah, I think I'm just going to demote you to knob fiddler.
Okay, that works.
His original description was knob fiddler because he's got one knob for audio and another knob for videos and another knob for different video and
Oh
another
Mal,
knob.
I don't dare count the knobs I have here. There are so many
Yeah.
knobs.
Well, at least you don't need to worry about one becoming dysfunctional. You've got plenty of still on standby, haven't you?
So
Right.
many. Yep. Yep.
Okay, so that's James Out Loud too, who you will hear from time to time, but he's responsible for the sound, vision, other stuff. Okay, so if you follow me on Twitter, you will find links constantly throughout the week to interesting articles and videos and things like that to do with our frame of reference. They don't all get featured here, but everything we feature here is included there. So if you need to recall exact links for what I'm talking about or stuff, you can find them on the Twitter feed. I do read out, where possible, the sites I'm talking about, but frequently those aren't the exact page. So you end up with a homepage or something. Anyhow, enough of that. I'm sure you know what I'm getting at there. Um, yeah, I think we're ready to go. Fairly quiet week again this week. No offline videos to show you this week. I guess we haven't got, nobody's posting from conferences or anything like that at the moment. Or for that matter, new products. I've got a feeling it will remain quiet in terms of new products and things until, another month or two,
Hmm.
until the Northern Hemisphere falls into its autumn sort of round of conferences and new releases and stuff. Meanwhile, everybody's on holiday, so there you go.
That's it.
Right. The first page I've got up on screen now is the XR Week Peak. This at the beginning of every week, Tony Vitillo, whose site it is, posts this, but he's better known as somebody called the Scarred Ghost.
Yes, and James fixed his soundboard.
Very good.
Hmm.
I think I just noticed that. I forgot to ask.
I was going to surprise you.
Yeah, it's more. But I always think of Howling Wolf. I don't know why. The difference between Scar Ghost and the Blues Man, I don't know. But never mind.
Yep, yep.
So yeah, the beginning of every week. This was on Tuesday. It's normally on Monday, sometimes Tuesday. But this is always a good site to go and catch up at the beginning of the week. It's a day after ours, so he obviously has some news from the beginning of the week that we hasn't broken yet, so to speak. This being a Sunday when we're live, right? Right. As I say, of course, I'm in a different viewer here. So, scarghost.com, SKARREDGHOST.com. I don't know why I was worried about that. I can memorize that one, but
Yeah.
not the other ones coming up. Right, so just to scan down the page a little bit, find out what's there. That picture is from the inside view of some headset or other, but for all the life of me, I keep thinking it looks like Darth Vader in Star Wars. That's what inside out there, inside out. What's it do to you? Oh,
Right.
it would be a meta, but yeah, it's a four-letter word product. So, well, no, Darth Vader is five letters, isn't it? Yeah, never mind, never mind. Right, so yeah, introducing four-letter word Quest 3 with an image by four-letter word. Yeah, so its launch is approaching. This is the popular thing of the moment, and they're launching a new, rather more expensive version. They've announced some of the features and the price just before the launch of Apple's Vision Pro, and they're already working towards the launch of this new device. Enough about that, really. Um, okay. Slightly distressing is, I think we mentioned this last week or at the end of last week. There's the company formerly known as Facebook are also launching something called Threads as a competition to
Yep.
Twitter. I've already got an app on my desktop here called Threads, which does a similar thing, so they might be in trouble there. But it's it says something about the state of Twitter when you actually, it sounds like the thing that Facebook might be doing. You get more approval than the original product, but there you go.
Yep.
Elon's obviously gone
Elon's
elongated.
big adventure continues.
Yeah, the elongated quest for elongated quest. No, no. Oh, I'm getting confused now. Come on.
No, you're on track though. You've got something there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Apple have released a software development kit for their Vision Pro, so developers and things get to know a load of stuff, and they've even released a simulator so that people can start testing the applications.
Yeah, that was
But
kind
it
of a
only works
surprise, I think.
Yeah, it only works on the Mac, of course. So
Yeah.
I like to send it. If you're a Windows guy like me, you are SOL. Shit out of luck.
Well, what's new? What's
That is an acronym I didn't know, so maybe it's
Oh,
just
it's
me.
popular in the U.S. military. Yeah.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah, news for Unity developers, stuff there. Um, okay. Hexa brings 3D visualization to Amazon Pages. Oh, right, right. This is really, uh, well, I don't think it's just Amazon, but it's going through Amazon. I think the idea is to actually take 2D store pages, advertising products, maybe on Amazon or not, and to convert 2D photos into 3D photos that can be manipulated using AR. Um, I presume it's where it will involve some kind of widget that can do that instantaneously and quickly. I was reading something today from the Second Life platform, in fact, where somebody had taken something from Sketch. I thought it was
Sketchfab or SketchUp.
Sketchfab, that was it, and just dropped it into Second Life really pretty damn simply, but it still required work, and they speeded up the video, so there's no idea how long it took. But obviously, something like that could be automated somehow, would provide a way of creating 3D objects pretty darn quickly.
My
And when
3D television converts 2D video to 3D in real time, which is pretty amazing.
I
It's
don't think I've
actually
seen it.
fairly effective.
I don't think I've seen that.
Yeah.
I'm also good on my iPhone here. I've got a thing called Scaniverse, which I just take a series of fast photographs, it's like about any object I may see, and it turns it into a mesh that I can bring into OpenSim or anywhere for that
Yeah.
matter. I
Yeah.
keep getting to try it. Well, I've tried it, but not on anything I want to bring in well, so to speak. Okay, so look out for a company called Hexa, basically, to do all that stuff for you. And finally, his newsworth can mention Xbox executives are not interested in XR.
Nope.
Yeah, like HoloLens and well, I guess Microsoft is one of those companies where the left arm doesn't really know what the right arm's doing most of the time. Anyway, as is the case with all large companies. Yeah, more on Microsoft. And back to the Questy thing. Dear me. Uh, Baobab Studios launches Galactic Catch. What is that one? Oh, it's well, yeah, it's a game, one way or another. Yeah. So anyway, find this roundup at the beginning of the week at scaredghost.com, SKARREDGHOST.com, and by tomorrow, which will be the 3rd of July, today being the 2nd, I don't know if I even got around to mentioning that, but yeah, by tomorrow, of course, there will probably be a new one. And the day after, if not, it will be there the day after. Maybe he'll do it the day after to coincide with America's Thing Me Day. Right.
Holiday. Right.
July 4th is a holiday thing for you lot, isn't it,
It
James?
is. Yeah.
James would know, yeah. Right, moving on to the next thing on my list, as it were. Lamina One. Now, Lamina One is the so-called new sort of virtual world effort that is well, Neil Stevenson got involved with, as did a load of other people. They were going to have a big conference this spring, and they put it off to the autumn. And I got a message just today. Any any news on when it's going to be? And there's still no news. They
Hmm.
are publishing blogs and things like that. Anyway, they've got more people involved in their partnerships for building what they seriously say is going to be the open metaverse. They've, they've got NVIDIA and people involved. They haven't done anything yet to imply it won't be an open metaverse, put it that way. Although one wonders how the Lamina and the Stevenson and all the others involved in that core are actually going to make any money out of it if it's open and interoperative. But if they can do it, fine. The only thing, the key partnership they kicked off now is aimed at integrating layer one blockchain technologies on their so-called metaverse. And I'm still apprehensive about blockchain technologies. I suppose there's nothing wrong with them for certain things, but I'm not keen on the idea of blockchain being equated with the metaverse. There was a blog today by one of my feeds about all what's happening with the metaverse and stuff, and it was actually absolutely nothing about anything I could consider to be related to the metaverse. It was a financial blog, and it was all about blockchain and cryptocurrencies and things like that. Whatever they were referring to as the metaverse in the title had no, it rang no bells for me, put it that way.
Hmm.
Since I checked it out, I thought, well, this is not my metaverse, right?
Right.
Anyway, so that's all about Lamina One, co-founder Neil Stevenson, etc., etc. Peter Vanessa's. Oh yeah, Tonya Parisi is involved with them, which is nice. Um, he is the one who conceptualized the 7 layers of the metaverse, and yeah. Also, Neil Tennant, I think his name is from yeah, from NVIDIA. I think he's involved in that. He's also in touch with Omi, which I keep an eye on too. Um, yeah, okay. So a bit of questions here near the end too. So quite a longish blog there. So you'll find this one at xrtoday.com, xrtoday.com. And yeah, moving on from that one. Right, xrtoday.com. Yes, again, this is a different post. In fact, this is immersive collaboration, XR Today Expert Roundtable. Now, I think this coincides with a video that's on my video blog that I'll get to a bit later. And why are you off again? Bad timing. Beep, beep, beep. Go away. So, sorry. I got a phone that beeps just when it's not wanted. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where am I? Oh yeah. Talking about roundtable discussions on XR and stuff like that. Um, they talking about remote and hybrid working has gone through a boom, partly because of COVID, etc. Um, Video conferencing tools such as Zoom and Microsoft have remained robust. So I don't know about remain robust. Nobody had ever heard of Zoom before the pandemic. And oddly enough, Skype, which everybody had heard of, you never hear of now. But it's, well, I saw it minutes ago. Somebody, oh, it was you, James, logging in on Skype a while ago. Right. Since the remote being. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, discussion it is. There is a video I'll be showing later, which I think maybe collides with the same people being involved here. Alex Howland, of course, from Fibella. Only familiar name to me there, really. Yeah, but anyway, so I think that may just be a transcript from something coming up in a bit. So find out at xrtoday.com. Down this. All right, we now go to The Verge. Very popular website. This I don't feature it that much, but this is quite interesting. Hope, Fear, and AI. Right. The website is theverge.com. So THEVERGE.com. And they polled, what is it, 2,000 people here about how they're using AI, what they want to do, and what scares them most about it. And but, you know, AI is already been muted as something that, you know, can collide with virtual, you know, there's things that we'll be able to do for virtual worlds with, you know, avatar-based chatbots and things powered by ChatGTP or whatever, and then the Mid-Journey for creating sort of panoramic skyboxes. You know, there's a lot of overlap just on simple things, but AI is just threatening to get in everywhere, you know, and even places you don't think, oh, well, it's not going to do anything there, is it? And then turn around 5 minutes later and, you know, it's disrupted everything. So this really is a question of talking to people. The results tell a story of an emerging, uncertain but exciting technology where many have yet to use it, many are fearful of its potential, and many still have great hopes for what it could someday do for them. So interesting bit of research there, I think. So that's at theverge.com. Right, impact of the metaverse. Here again, we're on the M word, and you know, they have it. I actually think this is an interesting title. Maybe they actually have been careful. It says the impact of metaverse on mental health. It doesn't say a metaverse, and it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't say metaverse. It just says metaverse.
Hmm.
I think they're playing it safe. I don't know, but this really is about mental health and the way VR and can provide solutions. So it's World Economic Forum, of course, have been highlighting this potential for quite some time for mental health, especially. Um, and there was always a mental health problem before COVID. There's an even worse one now, but a lot of this stuff was being, you know, tested and pioneered long before COVID came along. So, yeah. Okay. Meditation and mindful practices, like the mindful meditation. I mentioned last week the Second Life has been celebrating its 20th anniversary. For as long as I can remember, during that 20 years, there have been mindful Sims in Second Life, you know, places where you go for meditation, guided or otherwise. It's been a major use of virtual worlds for 20 years. So you know, some people write these articles and they haven't actually done their research. They think, oh, this is a brand new idea, you know.
Yep.
Whereas in fact, of course, it's as old as the hills, or the virtual hills, anyway. Right. Okay. First reported in Business Insider India. So there you go. Interesting. So interesting article. You'll find this English version at readwrite.com. That's readwrite.com. And I'll dispose of that one and move on to the next one. And this sounds like even more bad news or what, but again, it's down to interpretation. Gartner, who you know, used to have the hype cycle for virtual worlds, and people in Second Life, OpenSim used to follow it quite literally. You know, it had the trough, then the peak, then the trough, and then the collapse, or maybe not the collapse, the plateau, and blah, blah, blah. I think they've got their interpretation of the metaverse or metaverse. It starts by saying metaverse plural,
Right.
which would suggest to me that Gartner haven't quite got the message yet anyway. But they do have a point, and that is clunky, costly, literally sickening data silos aren't better than the real world, but they never were intended to be. They're meant to complement it. So, like anything online, it's a tool. Um, but they are saying the use cases are plagued by low adoption. Mind you, if there are that many metaverses, it's obviously that the adoption is going to be low because they're scattered around. How many thousand metaverses are out there, and how many
Oh,
thousand
gracious.
people? So
Yeah.
we do our mathematics. Well, there's 5,000 people and there's 1,000 metaverses, so that means each of them got an average of 5 people in them. Oh gosh, golly, that counts as low adoption, I think. Yeah, statistics, they are wonderful things. You can, depending how you express statistics, you can give the impression of one thing when in fact the truth is something totally different. It's all down to the way you formulate the statements, the percentages and things. Anyway, the interviews with 52 metaverse providers, so there's at least 52 metaverses, apparently. What? Understanding. There's only one metaverse. If there is anything left of, I think the metaverse imploded, like that submarine. Didn't explode; it just imploded, and its residents flapping around elsewhere and quite happily, all together, enjoying themselves, just refusing to use the M word. Just funny old world, isn't it? Okay, okay. Oh God, Japanese pals. Yeah, that's a good word, pals. Fujitsu and Mr. Jura. They've proclaimed a Japanese metaverse economic zone, and Gartner have found 85% are really not that interested in brands operating in these so-called metaverses. Well, 43 say they're staying away from the metaverse because they don't understand it. Um, there's no mention here anywhere. I mean, if you've been reading a summary from Gartner 5 years ago, they would almost certainly have mentioned Lyndon Labs in Second Life as being in a trough, maybe, but they would certainly have mentioned it as, it would come in as a prototype for all this stuff. Now, no mention of it, just fictional, unheard of, multiple M words. But still, I mean, that isn't to say that Gartner themselves and their assessments aren't still relevant. They just, in this case, they've really giving new assessments on a new thing which happens to have the same words. So not good, not good. Anyway, our friends Mr. Metaverse at Substack.com. Oh, by the way, the Gartner thing is a site called The Register. I guess it's a financial site or something.
Mm-hmm.
TheRegister.com. And just look for a title saying Metaverses are flopping. Just like discs before they became hard. Oh, I can think of a few other things that are often flopping when they're not hard. But we won't go into that one, will we? Right, okay. Remove that before I get distracted. Okay, the Undead Metaverse. Right, this is Mr. Metaverse's blog, which you will find at Mr. Metaverse, that's MRMETAVERSE.substack, that's SUBSTACK.com. And as he points out in the subtitle, what is dead may never die. Now, I read it, so what's he on about today? I know him because he's one of the main people on the Open Metaverse Alliance. That's a nice picture, that actually, despite its subject matter. It looks like, I bet you he's been in Mid-Journey or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, he's referring to an article he read saying rest in peace, Metaverse. An interpretation of metaverse is a newborn concept showcasing a misunderstanding of this digital universe's theoretical and historical context. Pretty much what I've just been saying about the previous post. It's essential to correct such an oversight, particularly when published on a platform with such reach and influence. He doesn't say what platform that was, but never mind. Ed Citron, whoever it is. His critique centers around an incomplete account of the metaverse definition. His contention with the current state of the metaverse fails to acknowledge the broader scope and inherent nature of this digital parallel to our physical universe. You see, there's ways around using the M word. There's a good one. It's far more than low quality VR avatars or flashy promotional videos. So he gives you a quick refresher, and that looks like a mid-journey recreation of the 70s, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I presume timeline the metaverse. He's really gone into the whole thing. He knows his stuff anyway. Reaches a conclusion pretty quickly too. So interesting thoughts there, and he's got links to the Interrupt show on YouTube that he does, and also OMI, which is the Open Metaverse Initiative. And come to think of it, might as well just have a peek. Okay, that right. Okay, his actual video show hasn't had an episode for 3 weeks, which explains why I couldn't find it when you saw it mentioned. Okay, right. Researchers reconstruct 3D environments from eye reflections. Now, technology goes in leaps and bounds and around so many corners. You don't know what's going on half the time. This is a prototype thing with a long way to go, but it can, well, forget AI. Surveillance software already sort of has a bit of methods of doing this. The idea being that you can, in high definition, you can hunt around for clues as to what isn't actually in the picture based on reflections you find in the picture. This indicates, a small little, I don't think it's even a real pussycat, I think it's a doll or something, but it's in the eye, a close-up of an eye in another photograph, and they can go in there and effectively, basically, find things out. I'll give you an example of how scary I find this. I think most will be more careful, but let's say you have a bad guy and a good guy, and the good guy is a captive of the bad guy, and the bad guy takes a photograph of the good guy in situ in a kidnap or something, yeah? And they say, look, here he's still alive. But the analysts then look at the photograph that's been posted or seen, and they see reflections in the good guy's eyes of the bad guy, and they immediately identify the bad guy. Doesn't, and it might even have information about the location. So this sort of scanning of information is pretty pertinent anyway. And the idea now is that they can do this from, say, a 2D photograph and recreate a 3D scene using both the photograph, what they've got of it, and the reflections embodied in the photograph, etc. So you can imagine this is interesting. Well, it's building on something called neural radiance fields. And of course, it is, as they say there, an AI technology that can reconstruct environments and 2D photographs, I'm afraid. Now, they say this is early and this is just proves the concept, but if it works, the AI will have this ready tomorrow, because once proof of product is there, they hand it over to the AI, and the computation now takes, what should have taken, 20 years will now take 20 seconds. So, despite the fact that the work still has a long way to go, I suspect that the AI might accelerate that a little bit. So they've got a few examples here. That's a picture from a synthetic eye, dreamlike quality. What is that? It's not a 2D photo that exists anywhere. It's all been taken out of other 2D photos and remodeled. Anyway, yes, fascinating stuff.
They're kind of reminiscent of Blade Runner. You know how they reconstruct a scene.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, and also, of course, we've got the old. Oh God, I've forgotten the other one that has the premonition thing.
Minority Report.
Yeah.
Yep.
And which has been, I think there's a TV show coming shortly, which is basically nicking that whole idea too.
Okay, yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, exactly. Science fiction, and very often is the, the seed with which scientists or artists or whatever run, come up with innovative stuff. So
Yep. Yep.
it's and when you think about it, all the fuss about Mid-Journey and those pictures and everything else. There again, they've taken 1,000 seeds and run with it, and even the AI is coming up with something, just seeded from somewhere else.
Yep.
Nothing new under the sun, but new, what's the word? Variations now running at the speed of light. So there you go. So this post, by the way, is at engadget.com. So that's engadget.com. And I suppose I'm about to dispose of that along with the undead metaverse. That's awful, isn't it? Right, big XR news from Unity, Meta, Lamina One, and Apple. This again we're back to xrtoday.com from actually just a couple of days ago. It's the end of the week thing. Not actually. This again is a useful roundup site, but there's not much in it. This week it wasn't covered either early in the week by the Skull Ghost or various other bits and pieces too. Two new AI tools, Unity Muse and Sentis, were released from the unsuspecting public, in other words, creators, designing immersive worlds and XR content. Unity Muse offers an extensive service which leverages AI-backed assistance for people creating immersive content. Yeah, if there's a tool available, Unity will, include it pretty quick, as indeed Adobe have. Photoshop is now more resembles a 3D AI working application, 2D Photoshop.
Hey, Mal.
Yeah.
Your voice is kind of blurry.
Okay, sorry, I've been wandering away from the microphone. Not physically wandering, just turning in the wrong direction in order to read my screen, to be honest. So,
Okay.
if I had a longer cable on the mic, just tilted a bit more towards where I'm facing, that might help a bit. Right. Okay, so anyway, xrtoday.com for this. And 40% of people questioned do not intend to buy Apple's device, and 33% are undecided, which leaves, let me see, 73. So there still is 27% who probably want to buy it, even at the price it is. So there you go. A little anecdote on Apple there. Right. roadtovr.com. Another familiar site here. Come on. You're meant to be in that view. Yes, there you are. Clever thing. Right. Sony have brought out a mocap device that lets VR chat users unleash their inner anime girl. This is rather curious. VR chat, of course, is. I often forget that this is fairly independent. It's not to be confused with one of the worlds that is on the four-letter word headset. Yeah, well, anime is anime, but then again, Sony is Japanese and Japan is anime. This is so it's a Japan-only device, or it was, but it's now going to be released in the US. Mocap is motion capture, of course. Gosh golly, and a ton of VTubers, that's video YouTubers worldwide, have already jumped the gun and ordered this direct from Sony. Available in the US, it's actually $450, which for mocap, if it's any good, does not sound.
Yeah, it's not bad, right?
Not bad at all. Yeah. Sony, for all their commerce, are not. They're not known for releasing things at excessive price points. Even things like PlayStation that are ubiquitous, but not. They don't use the excuse to rip people off too much, which is more than I can say for certain other people. God, you've been even an innocent little text thing called Twitter. Somebody buys it and tries to rip you off because of it. It's just. Oh, never mind. Mode copies comes. You get 6 small, lightweight inertial measurement units. They're different sensors, and they hook into a dedicated smartphone app, either Mac or Android, and let you do full body motion tracking from both inside and outside VR. So these things basically, they're left, right, and they're scattered around 6 points basically. and they reckon
They
it's
they
the
attach to
top.
your body, actually, Mel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry, but they hook into the smartphone app. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a bit like I have a diabetes monitor on one of my arms, which
Mm-hmm.
is very much the same sort of thing. You know, I need the app on the phone to do anything with it, but it hooks to the body or um, yeah, body or well, clothing probably I
Right.
suspect rather than
Right.
actually having a pin in them or anything.
Good
Um,
old Velcro.
yeah, Velcro doesn't stick to skin though. It would have to be clothing.
It'd be
Uh,
clothing. All right.
Yeah, yeah. But if thin enough clothing or, lycra even, that's fine. Okay, so, yeah, it's targeting VTubers, they think, but another use case the company is trumpeting is undoubtedly the device's ability to give avatars full body tracking for things like VR chat. So, what I'm thinking of here is that on this show and other shows where I appear as an avatar, I'm reliant on fairly static or plugging in animations or having an animation seat to move my lips and well, yeah, my lips don't move here.
We lost all that voice, Mel.
Yeah, well, I got a mask on so you don't get my lips here.
Okay.
Right, okay. Sorry, I must have turned to another screen again. This is bad. This is supposed to be a good mic, right?
Yeah, yeah. It hasn't been like this before. It's just the past couple weeks. I don't know what's up.
Yeah, okay, I'm moving it into the front of the screen.
Yeah.
It's not obscuring anything I need right now, so that might help. Um, okay, yeah, so I could actually see animating the avatar I'm doing this news with, for example, a little more eloquently by, having this 6 units on me. Presumably, if they can be hooked up to an iPhone, and I can get into VR chat from an iPhone, which I know I can, that would work. But you can't go to OpenSim on Second Life from an iPhone easily. But I presume that if that's a possibility for the iPhone, then there's nothing to stop you actually rigging the sensors for a PC or a Mac too, much in the same way that Leap Motion's sensor just plugs into a USB port, and that's a single sensor with multiple sensors in it. But whatever software would connect these pieces to the iPhone, I presume, would be as effective on the desktop if you needed it, or even a TV one day. Sort of a lot of stuff will shift to TV ultimately, rather than remaining on the web. And yeah, the quick start guide, we might as well look at that. We haven't got any other videos this week. This is 16 minutes, so I haven't already watched this, so
Hi everybody, I'm Andrew and I'm here today with my virtual sidekick, Leo. I'm on Sony Mokopi's product team and I'm here today to show you how to set up, pair, and calibrate your Mokopi system so you can begin capturing motion from anywhere. You ready, Leo? First, you'll need to download the Mokopi app. On iOS devices, you can find it on the App Store, and on Android, you can find it on the Google Play Store. All right, now that it's downloaded, let's open it up. First, you'll need to go through some permissions. You want to select all the checkboxes, click select, and now we're going to begin the pairing process. So you want to make sure you have your sensors flat on the table. And you'll need to make sure that your location services are on and allow. All right, and it'll walk you through pairing and set it with each sensor. So first, it's the head sensor. Let's press the middle of it to turn it on. You'll see it show up right here. Select it. Select next, select next. Next, we have the left wrist, and you'll keep going through this until you've paired all of the sensors. Now that the sensors are paired, we need to connect to them. Click confirm. You want to make sure that all the sensors are on and they have the blue light flashing, and you want them to be flat on the table and not moving, because it'll make sure that they perform better that way. So now that we have them on the table and they're flat, select connect sensors. You'll see check marks as they connect, And on the sensor itself, when they're connected, instead of a blue flashing light, you'll see a green flashing light. All right, great. Once they're connected, you can also see the battery life of the sensors. So if any of them are low, you'll see this battery icon will be yellow. All right, now that we're connected, let's select confirm. Next, we want to get our straps out.
I knew that had to be
Now
something
we want to
kinky.
put the sensors on the strap.
Right.
See a video here showing you how it's done. And let's first start with our head sensor. They clip right in, and once they're in, they're secured. You see, they really won't come out unless you press these two buttons on the side, and then it'll come out. When putting the wrist strap on, one little tip is you want the strap to be above your wrist bone. If it's too close to your hand, it'll move when you move your hand, and that will affect the accuracy of your tracking. When putting the ankle strap on, you want to make sure you do it underneath your pants and pull your socks tight, because if they're not fully secure or on your pants might move or your socks might move, which will also affect the tracking. And with the hip sensor,
I wonder what that was going to be.
the pant strap right in the center. Now it's time to calibrate. Once you get to the calibration screen, what you're going to want to do is select your height. If you notice that the units are not...
Okay, well, there's a lot more of that to talk you through. I think we get the gist. That's how they attach. That's what they are. And as you can see, they're actually Bluetooth, which certainly wouldn't prevent them operating a Mac. Bluetooth ubiquitous. I'm sure will work on Microsoft and Linux as well. Okay, so yeah, great. We did have a little extra video today. After all, I didn't catch that in advance, so but fortunately, we had a very good way of watching it for once. So if I click go back, oh, that was that. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. So yeah, it played rather neatly, didn't it, from there? Okay, so final web page to mention. We have I think this was with news last week, but only just, and that is the godfather of AI has left Google and warns of dangers ahead. I think he'd actually made the announcement about his warning of the dangers of AI last week or a week before even, but it's only that last couple of days he's actually officially left Google as a result. Apparently his criticisms are just at odds with whatever Google are up to. There was another news item I couldn't get up this morning for some reason, but it's in my Twitter feed, which is that Google themselves, by the way, have now abandoned all attempts to build, we're going to say AI glasses. They're not AI. Well, too many anachronisms these days.
Augmented?
Yeah, AR glasses. That's it. Yeah. So apparently, with all this other stuff coming out, Google is calling it a day on that particular technology. But they're still pushing ahead with AI. If presumably they need to copy Bing and for search AI and well, anyway. So Jeffrey Hinton, who sort of more or less invented all this stuff, you wouldn't have ChatGPT or Midjourney or anything else like that without him, as it were. He says that he's not too bothered because if he doesn't really have regrets, because he says if he hadn't done it, somebody else would have got to it and done it. But he is obviously concerned that the risks are tackled now before the point of no return, so to speak. And this is really serious stuff. You can know it is when mainstream media, like the news television and stuff here are having features on it all the while. Um, sort of. Well, it's serious. I think when somebody equated it with it, the development of AI is as serious as the development of an atomic bomb. People say, "Hey,
Hmm.
what's this? AI?
Hmm.
Bomb?" Yeah. Well, yeah, could be. I mean, just well, actually, the logical thing to do is just to empty out your silos and put a computer into your nuclear missiles operated by AI. And then you tell the AI only use in an emergency, and the AI says, "Okay, won't fire unless it's an emergency." And then it hears a bell and think, "Is that an emergency? Will somebody tell me is that an emergency?" No reply. I better assume it is. Boom. Wonders of future technology, eh? Right. Okay. So readwrites.com for that one if I didn't give it you already. READWRITE.com. And a little bit about the future of AI. Now, while I've got here and I've been doing a little bit of cleaning up in this section, so to speak, um, this is a blog called HIEOPENSIM.blogspot.com. Stands for Hypergrid International Expo. If you're involved with OpenSim or any of the many hundreds, thousands of virtual worlds that are part of the Open Simulator Hypergrid, you might be interested in this European-based conference, which will be coming up in October. Held on the Craft Grid, whatever. If you go to HIE OpenSim blogspot.com, you can find out more about it. That's just the opening page. And yeah, they promote some other features there too. You'll probably recognize a few of the people involved in that too.
You think?
Voices of VR. As far as I know, there were none this week, but the easy way to check is to see. And no, those are the last Voices of VR episodes was with Hamlet All last week. Okay, so that's it for the reading list. So I've actually adjusted my newsreader this week so that we can actually read the Mastodon feed a bit more pleasantly than normal. Lose the formatting, but get the goodies, so to speak. I have at MetaWorld at mastodon.social is a Mastodon feed I've got as well as Twitter, and I reserve it for reasonably long form videos coming out during the week. All the posts there do get sent across to Twitter, so if you just follow me, Mal Burns, on Twitter, you will get these anyway. It's just that people who subscribe to Mastodon get them a few minutes beforehand, I suppose. And unfortunately, there is one here that hasn't come through yet from today. I think this just refreshes one. So I will go. This was from this morning, basically. I posted these just to double check. As usual, we've got Ted Shilowitz, Ronnie Aberitz, and Charlie Fink with their Week in XR.
This episode of our This Week in XR
features a lot of advertising at the beginning, as it always does these days.
podcast is sponsored by Zapper.
Oh,
Zapper
come
is
on,
one of
come
the
on.
world's leading XR companies.
I don't
Over the
care
past
what
12
Zapper
years,
is.
They've won numerous. Is our game and not be so
Right.
So,
We're in the dog days of summer. We've been
Okay,
dog
well, yeah, one doesn't really know how far to fast forward. There's 50 minutes of it. Okay, basically they're featuring somebody called David Ganek and Joel Newton from a company called City Lights VR. Obviously, they're talking about their usual stuff as well, but they're particularly talking about that. And oh, God, that was not what we wanted. Go away. Sorry about that. That's what happens when you click. It moves to a completely new web reader. Right, okay. So that was that one. Yeah, as I say, all these come through to Twitter, so you can see them. That basically is a weekly roundup. You get that every week. Most of these are weekly or fortnightly. This one is Between Realities. They're looking at Waffle Studios. Their focus is much more on games, but they do cover a lot of the technology behind it now and again. And of course, there is the technology behind computer games is often um, uh, in common with virtual worlds and immersive spaces too. So the subjects overlap a little bit. Back to Friday. Now, I've got two embeds here, which are from XR today, and the embed code isn't showing up properly. Well, you can see it, but it's not giving us a preview, but I can actually show you quickly. This is a 50-minute one, and this has got, much like the summary we saw in text, this is
We are back again. This is Mark Jerton, Senior Jump.
this is big news on Improbable, Apple Vision Pro, and Meta. So it's a roundup of some stuff we pretty much already know about. Jay Latter, CEO and founder of what? Oh, something called Stint. Right. Just going to click through to see if there's anything particularly pertinent. No. Digital twins. Oh, VR, AR. Yeah, I thought I'd know his face from somewhere. Right. Anyway, it's a 50-minute piece if you want to look it up and read the stuff there. Basically, I like talk shows as well. Yeah. The great thing about these too is if you load them, you don't really have to watch them. Most of them. They're just good listens in their own right. Some actually publish as podcasts as well as video casts. This is the same address again. This was from XL today. Again, the actual videos on YouTube. And this one, I mentioned when I was reading around earlier that there was one post that sounded like mostly a transcript from, a discussion. And I think this was the one creating discussion around XR in the workplace.
Familiar with a lot of the things that
Like his background.
that
Robert Scoble, eat your heart out.
created.
Right, I think it's just the two of them, that one. Yes, it is, but it's interesting enough
Yeah,
anyway.
I think the key for me is to avoid gaming.
There you go, avoid gaming. Okay, and now there is one. Oh, yeah, well, this is the one that James, I know, looks forward to every week when he can make it. Did you make it this week?
I did. Yeah, it was a good episode. It was quite long, but I think the key story was Ian was talking about reflecting on his use of the Vision Pro from Apple and wondering is it still too heavy, and that that could be a deciding factor for some people. I know you don't like headsets because of the weight, and so
Yeah.
it'll be
But
interesting to see
also-
since it's so high priced. Is it going to have an issue with people who have to wear it all day for industrial purposes?
Yeah, I think I got that overall impression that this is it may be lighter than some things, but it's still cumbersome.
Yeah.
And it's not just the weight of something; it's the idea of being fully enclosed in something for an extended period of time. Like it sounds like the sort of thing that if somebody gave me one for free, I might attach it to my Mac and put it on for 20 minutes to experience a VR installation or something, and then take it off. But just a special add-on for it. It's like I don't wear headphones unless I really want to listen to a piece of music. I rely on feeding it through to decent speakers or, even a tinny speaker on screen if necessary. But if I really want to listen, I put the headphones on. So I've got a feeling if there's a 3D experience I really wanted to indulge in, I would tolerate putting a lightweight helmet on for that slight duration. But I'm afraid I still stand by what I've always said. I mean, it's got to be something like a lightweight pair of sunglasses.
Yeah.
And even those you wouldn't get me wearing all day long. I go out for a walk, I put sunglasses on when the sun's out, but I don't wear them when the sun's not out.
Right.
Why?
Well, and I think a key issue is that, given the market, I mean, given the price, it's going to be industrial, and someone will outfit their artistic staff to be using these headsets, and so since it's not gamers so much that would be the market for these, it's going to be industrial use, and they will be expected to wear it all day long, and so that would be that's going to be a challenge, I think.
Sorry, I got another thing. It's just burst up into. That
Oh,
wasn't the intention. Okay, I'm just gonna. Okay, yeah, that does show. Okay, just going back here again. Um, right, actually, we'll just have a brief look at that. Oh yes, it's nearly 2 hours.
yep. That
Um,
was a long one.
so
That happens
yeah.
when Kyle hosts. He's just, he likes to go down rabbit holes. Hmm.
Ah, a companion
A
broadcaster, eh?
companion broadcaster, indeed.
Long live us rabbit holers. That's what
Right.
Arthur. Okay, the final one actually. This didn't pop up with a video embed at all. In fact, I went to piped video, and actually the it's I've now posted this, but it hasn't come through on this reader yet. The repost will actually have an embed because it's on YouTube. But while I was dithering around there, you may have just seen an extra screen by mistake. I've actually loaded a stream here, and oh, hang on, I'm in the incoming downloads. Where has it gone? Oh God, you know what I've done? I've moved it already. Right, Showtime. Um, let's see if it's in Lindenville. Where about Lindenville? Okay, the clip I'm looking at, I know I actually did have a copy offline for my future reference to keep around, but where I put it, of course, is another matter entirely.
I know that
Uh,
feeling. Yeah.
since I wasn't expecting to use it on the show. Um, okay, basically, coming back here, Andrew Meadows, it still works for Linden Lab actually, but he and Philip Rosedale, the creator of Second Life, went to school. They studied physics together back in their university days, and there's about 90 minutes of them reminiscing, but not scientists reminiscing together indulgently. They are referring to, Philip's had the idea of doing this regular podcast for a while, which is looking back at moments in the development of Second Life and related things. And here he's really starting at the beginning, because Andrew was with him before Second Life had a name. I think it was before it was even Lindenville. So very they're hobnobbing about, memories of the inception of the platform, which of course is now 20 years old, but also of course pioneered. So what broken sim, and also um, you know methodology of interacting with the virtual world. It was all there and it still all is. There's probably no other OpenSim and Second Life are probably the only platforms there that, you know, other people criticize the graphics and things like that, that they embody everything. They've got voice chat, text chat, they've got different fidelity and resolutions. You can move your avatar around in them. You can bring in motion capture, all sorts of other things. They are platforms that are for cooperation. They facilitate, rather than just to play a game, they facilitate collaboration, communication, and everything else. And all the tools you need are gradually developed and brought in to both Second Life and OpenSim. And whereas a lot of what you see in new competing products is basically taking their selection of tools and packaging a game-like experience out of them. There aren't many places where you can just log in and build your own thing or acquire your own tools or stuff like that. So, and physics is what it's all about. These both Philip and Andrew are physicists. That's what they are at core. And that's how the whole thing came about. So really interesting discussion there. You will find it on my Mastodon feed, and by now I suspect it's gone through to the Twitter feed. This is the repost, as it were. But we have the link there if you need it. It's just that it's not going to open up as an embed here. Pipt, if you're wondering, by the way, is a secure front end to YouTube. Basically, anything that's at YouTube you can bring into Pipt, but it bypasses Google's spyware. So when you log into YouTube normally, YouTube know you're there. They know who you are, your Google account, and everything else. and they keep a record of what you've watched and everything else. You know, the surveillance of the Google machine, basically. Using piped takes a bit of work, but it's a way of putting things onto YouTube for storage, but actually allowing your users to view them via pipes, which eliminates all the Google connections. It embeds the film. Um, Limited stuff. I mean, when you're using it, I can't, for example, hide my interface or follow links or things like that because the piped interface deliberately blocks anything to do with Google spyware. But useful for other things, if you see what I mean. You know, if you want something a bit more hidden away or whatever. So anyway, we can't watch that now, but maybe at some point I'll have the old clip from it. Probably the most interesting thing of the week, and as I say, it's about 90 minutes long, so it's not short, but both of them, especially Philip, are very personable on air. You know, so they're okay. Right. So that's it. That's it for this week's show.
Yeah.
It's yeah, exactly. I don't know how long we've been. I wasn't too bothered today, but I think we're probably well under the hour.
1 hour and 1 minute.
Oh, okay. Well, we're just over the hour then. Fair enough.
Yep.
Sorry about the 1 minute. Right. Okay, James. Any other thoughts then, apart from upload VR and all that stuff?
No, I guess only that I've been visiting the. I know this isn't a Second Life show, but I've been visiting
Yeah.
the Second Life birthday, and it's actually
So have I.
it's been quite fun. So
Yeah.
it's fun celebrating. 20 years is in internet years. That's pretty decent. That's a
Oh
good
yeah,
long
it
time.
is. Yeah, I mean, yeah, a lot of online things don't last anything like that long. Take
Right, right.
GeoCities or something like that, or
Yeah,
even their.com. I mean, IMVU is probably about as old, but you know,
yeah,
it's sort
yeah.
of, and you know, um, I, I'm trying to think. I don't think even Facebook is that old, actually,
No, I
to
don't
be
think.
honest.
Yeah.
Um, it's yeah, it is a long time and still unique, you know. I've been popping in there on the text client quite a lot to keep an eye on sort of things, but I haven't been in very much visually. I do still find it's a very laggy platform.
Hmm.
Despite, you know, you think, you know, it used to be the other way around. OpenSim, where we do our stuff, used to be the laggy one.
Right,
And so
right.
it's now reversed. It's the other way around. But yeah, there have been a lot of videos I haven't posted here, or even on my main feeds for obvious reasons. But I have a feed at Twitter for my avatar second line. Sorry, Mal Burns Writer,
Right.
Mal Burns underscore writer. And that Twitter feed has a lot of video embeds from arts and destinations and Second Life, and um, they've been rerunning quite a few of their shows called the Lab Gab,
Hmm.
which they're quite good shows. I just wish they'd take care of turning their interface off and stop making it look so gamey, you know.
Mm.
Um, but they repeated a few of those, and then separate for that, people like Patch Linden, who's basically the boss of Second Life, as opposed to Lab, have been giving their own speeches, and I think Sapphire's Widdershins has been behind a few other sort of talks and things, and they have a big, you know, foursome main stage and stuff, and usually the lesser attended ones are usually fairly manageable. It's just when you get the big Linden speeches where, you know, every single sim in the region is crowded to capacity, and you even get people in adjacent sims who can't hear, but they use their camera to pan across the boundaries. And of course, all that is more and more weight on the simulators where it's all happening. Um, you know, so possibly it's the ways and means of getting into these events that make them so laggy. But it's certainly been a celebration worth checking. And also, if you go to issue.com, ISSUU,
Yep.
they brought out a lovely glossy brochure this year. It's about 36 pages, like Glossy Magazine, which is actually the brochure for the anniversary and published by Linden's, you know. Tells you what's going on and everything, but it's just a nice keepsake, actually. If you can download it, I presume you can as a PDF. So. Yes, and that goes on for about another week, yes, I think. The
I think
regions,
so.
the actual week of celebrations is over, but they keep the birthday regions open for longer. And this would be the best time to go if you want to look at the exhibits and things like that,
Such
because,
such creativity. I mean, the
yeah,
artists in Second Life are still pretty phenomenal.
yeah. And yeah, as I say, this is a good time because the
Yeah.
crowds have gone, but so it'd be much easier to wander around and oh, and they've always had something that I really like. They have a little sort of, it's not a train, it's like little pods, but you can get a piece on a pod,
Hmm.
and the pod takes you all around the fairgrounds, the birthday
Yep.
grounds. You sort of see everything while just sitting on a pod, and that is slightly lag free too, because when you're sitting in the pod, your avatar is using less resources than when it's standing or walking. So that's another very good way to actually get to see the thing. In fact, I might go in there myself and maybe film the pod journey.
Yeah. Yep.
I have done that in the past. It takes a little while, but I'll just set the camera running and let the pod do all the
Sure.
camera
Sure. Yep.
work. Yeah, just for posterity, as it were. Right. Anything else, James? Or
Nope. That's it for me.
Right, yeah, I think so. Okay, folks. Well, thanks for watching. Hope we've been able to give you a little bit of news. Maybe there's, if only one thing here you hadn't picked up elsewhere. Yeah,
Yeah.
never know. We'll be back same time, same place next week. We're live at well, we go live. Oh, actually, we don't go. It's not noon, is it? It's
Oh,
not
11.
anymore.
Yeah, 11
It's
Pacific.
10:30, isn't it? Yeah,
Oh, yeah, we
10:30.
do go 10:30. That's
We're
right.
10:30 a.m.
Right.
on Sundays now,
Right.
and we have our show that's at noon on Sundays, Pacific time, basically. But you can catch us in repeats at YouTube any old time you want, so that is fine. So that's it from today, the 2nd of July, and we will return. What else is there to say? Look after yourselves. Um, don't spend too much time in those helmets. Don't don't go out and breathe unhealthy stuff anywhere. I really shouldn't just keep reminding you that COVID is still here because it is. But I mean, it's what do you call it? Group immunity now. I guess we sort of have. It's
Mm.
not as prevalent, but be careful. Sort of, and do remember, that the virtual world, in one form or another, is here. When COVID was rampant, it was an escape that was safe, and it will be a safe escape if anything like that happens again, and it invariably will, by the way. Not necessarily the same thing, but something similar. So don't ignore the power of what you can do online, and also don't ignore the power of what AIs can possibly do to you offline. But that's another story, isn't it? Okay, we'll see you next week. We're out of here for now. Thank you to James for his help. Thank you, James.
Yep.
And yeah, we're off. We're out of here. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Bring down the curtains. Well, not literally. Bye bye.